Today, we're going to introduce algebraic expressions, which will naturally be a huge part of everything we do in college algebra. We'll also talk about evaluating algebraic expressions, which is very important, and applying the order of operations. So let's go ahead and get into it. In algebra, we move from just basic computations and arithmetic to really wielding the power of mathematical notation in order to solve problems. A key part of this is the variable. A letter used to represent various numbers is called a variable. Here's a basic example. If P is the price of gas in dollars per gallon, and you need 15 gallons of gas to fill your car, then the cost to fill your car can be written using that variable P, the price of gas, written like this: 15 times P. We use the dot to represent multiplication, or we could simply write 15P. If you put them next to each other, that also means multiplication. Of course, in the past, a cross or X shape is a popular choice for multiplication, and we will still occasionally use it. However, we're often going to use X as a variable, so to make everything as clear as possible, we're not going to use this guy for multiplication very often. But back to the example, P here, the price of gas, of course, that is the variable. It's a letter being used to represent various numbers. The price of gas changes depending on time and where you are. The exact price of the gas to fill your car today, 15 times P, it's not going to be the same as next week, 15 times P. These variables are typically going to pop up in algebraic expressions, a combination of variables and numbers using the operations addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, powers, and or roots, so it doesn't have to use all of them, and or roots, is called an algebraic expression. Here are a few examples of algebraic expressions. These ones all use the variable x. See if you can look at them all and identify the operations that each one uses. This algebraic expression uses the operation of addition. This is subtraction. This is, again, multiplication. We just write the things next to each other. That's 15 times x. This is division. Fractions, of course, imply division. It's x divided by 4. 5x plus 3, we've got multiplication as well as addition. X squared minus 7, this is an example of one of those powers. Here, x has a power of 2, which you probably recall means that it is x times x. It's 2 factors of x. This algebraic expression, of course, also has subtraction. This last algebraic expression has a root, the square root of x, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So those are some basic examples of this creature, which we will work with a lot. We saw x in this expression has a power of 2. Powers are also called exponents, and many of the algebraic expressions we're going to work with contain these exponents. Here are some examples of that, as well as a refresher on how powers/exponents work. X could have an exponent of 2. In this algebraic expression, here, we could actually say that x has an exponent of 1. However, that doesn't change its value, so we will typically just not write it. And to go a step further, this term, which is just 8, we could also say has an x with an exponent of 0, because an exponent of 0 will cause it to evaluate to 1. Of course, multiplying by 1 doesn't change anything, so putting it there is the same as just not having it. But if you wanted to view x as having a power here, we'd say it has a power of 0. Then we get this nice thing. It's got a power of 0, a power of 1, and a power of 2. This is an example of something called a quadratic, which we'll work with a lot as well. Here, x has an exponent of 3. Here's the exponent 1 again, the exponent 0, if you want to think about that, the exponent 2, the exponent 4, and hey look, the exponent 0 again. There's a couple weird things about this algebraic expression. For one, it's not fully simplified. 4 and negative 2 are what we call like terms. They can be combined. 4 minus 2 is just 2. So we could simplify this expression by getting rid of that minus 2 and changing the plus 4 to a plus 2. So it wasn't fully simplified. Nobody said that an algebraic expression has to be fully simplified, though of course we're often going to want to write them that way. Another thing to note about this algebraic expression is that the exponents of x in the expression aren't going in any special order. In this expression, they were going in descending order: 2, 1, 0. In this expression, though, we see the exponents of x jumping around: 1, 0, 2, 4. There's nothing super wrong with that, but typically we are going to want to write algebraic expressions this way, in descending order of the exponents. That's just going to be a lot more convenient most of the time. All right, let's just undo that simplification. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with an unsimplified algebraic expression, so I'm going to leave it like that in all of its glory. Here is just a review of what exponents do. If n is a natural number, those are numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., then having a power of n means that that base is going to get multiplied together over and over again so that there are n factors total. So if we have an exponent of 3, what's going to happen? That base is going to get multiplied 3 times, b times b times b. For a concrete example, 2 to the power of 4. That's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's 16. It's 4 factors of 2. The number of factors is indicated by the exponent. Same thing with negative 8 to the 2. And you want to be really careful when you're working with exponents and negative numbers. This says negative 8 has a power of 2. So that means we've got 2 factors of negative 8. Negative 8 times negative 8. What happens here? Well, 8 times 8 is 64, and you should remember that a negative times a negative is a positive. So this evaluates to 64. You got to be really careful with this stuff, because if you look at something like negative 8 to the power of 2 without the parentheses, well, there's something you may recall called the order of operations, which we're going to discuss shortly, but the order of operations tells us that exponents take precedence over multiplication. So to evaluate this, before we multiply by the negative 1, and yes, we do consider that a multiplication, we actually have to evaluate the exponent, 8 squared. So this would be negative times 8 squared, which is 64. That's negative 64. That's different than what we got down here when we had those parentheses. So be careful, especially if you're using a calculator. If you're trying to evaluate this, but you put this into the calculator, you're going to get the wrong answer. Then this last example, b with an exponent of 1, that's just one factor of b, so it's actually just b itself. Like we said, an exponent of 1 doesn't do anything, so we typically wouldn't write it. We've been talking about natural number exponents here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. What about other types of numbers? Well, they can be exponents too, but we're not going to worry about how to deal with them just yet. I did mention earlier that if you raise something to the power of 0, an exponent of 0 right there, well, that just evaluates to 1. So that's a fun rule to keep in mind. It just means there's no factors of x. So what represents nothing in terms of multiplication? Well, it's 1, because you can multiply anything by 1, and nothing changes. But again, we'll talk more about exponents for other types of numbers in detail later. Okay, we've had some practice with exponents and talked about algebraic expressions. Let's go ahead and try evaluating some algebraic expressions. These things aren't useful if we can't determine their value, so how do we do that? Well, evaluating an algebraic expression simply means to find the value of the expression for a given value of the variable. Remember, these things typically contain variables, and variables can take on many different values. So to evaluate something like 9 plus 4 times x minus 5 cubed, we need a value of the variable. And we're told for this exercise that the variable x is equal to 8. So all we do is substitute x equals 8 in place of that variable, and then do the math to evaluate the expression. How do we do that? Well, first we need to evaluate what's in the parentheses. 8 minus 5, that's 3. So here's the next step. 9 plus 4 times 3 to the power of 3. All right, now we've got to evaluate exponents. We've got this exponent of 3. 3 to the power of 3, we know that's 3 times 3 times 3. So that gets us here. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So that gets us here. 4 times 27, you can break that down in your head. 4 times 20 is 80. 4 times 7 is 28. Add them together, you get 108. All right, so that's 9 plus 108. Final answer, it evaluates to 117. Now pause the video and try this one for practice. Similar thing, 2 plus 7 times x minus 1 squared. Evaluate this for x equals 11. Let's look at the solution now. Here's the solution. We just plug 11 in for x. 11 minus 1 is 10. So we've got 10 to the power of 2. That's 10 times 10, which is 100. 7 times 100 is 700. Then just add the 2. So we end up with 702 as the final answer. The value of this algebraic expression would be different for a different value of x. But for this value of x, it's 702. Of course, evaluating these things correctly comes down to properly following the order of operations. You can't just do whatever operations you want in whatever order you please. You've got to do it right so that we can all agree on the one correct value of an expression. So, as review, here are the order of operations, which I suspect you have some experience with. The order of operations say, when evaluating an expression, the first thing we need to do is perform operations that are within the innermost parentheses and work outward. We say innermost and work outward because sometimes there are multiple sets of parentheses nested within each other. In such a case, you want to start on the inside and work to the outside. And if the algebraic expression includes a fraction, we've got to treat the numerator and denominator as if they were each enclosed in parentheses, like you see represented here. You've got to compute the numerator, compute the denominator, and then you can do the division represented by the fraction if you need to. After you've dealt with parentheses and fractions, you'll evaluate all exponential expressions. So those are the exponents and the powers. Then perform multiplication and division as they occur, just going in order from left to right, and same thing for addition and subtraction at the end. Do them from left to right. This order of operations, of course, gives rise to the popular mnemonic PEMDAS, which tells us to evaluate an expression, we should go inside parentheses first, then exponents, then multiplication and division in order, and then addition and subtraction in order. Let's try it out with this deliberately ugly expression. We want to evaluate this algebraic expression for the value of the variable x equals 10. We begin by substituting 10 in place of x, and you see that there. Now we're going to start in the parentheses, and within the parentheses, we happen to have a fraction. So we should begin by evaluating the numerator where we've got an addition going on. So 10 plus 2, that gives us 12, which brings us here. Now we can evaluate what's inside the parentheses, starting with the division. 12 divided by 4 is 3, so that gets us over here, still in the parentheses. 3 minus 1 is 2, so that's going to bring us down to this line. We're now in the parentheses, we just have 2, and we can move on to the exponents. Here, 2 has an exponent of 2, that's 2 times 2. That's going to give us 4 and bring us here. Now we're going to do multiplication and division as they appear from left to right. The first operation we encounter between multiplication and division is this one here, 6 times 4. That's 24, which brings us here. Now we can do this division, 24 divided by 2. That's going to bring us here. 24 divided by 2 is 12. And now we just do the addition and subtraction to finish up. 3 plus 12 is 15. 15 minus 5 is 10. Once you get a hang of it, it's a lot quicker to do than it is to explain. But let's try some practice here. Evaluate this expression, very much like the previous one, for x equals 5. Pause the video, give it a try. Now, let's look at the solution. Here it is, very similar process to the previous problem. We begin in the parentheses where in the denominator, we've got a little bit of math we got to do. We plug in x equals 5. Now let's start with that subtraction in the denominator. 8 minus 5 is 3, so that brings us here. Now, still in the parentheses, do the division, 30 divided by 3, that gives us 10. 13 minus 10 in the parentheses is 3, which brings us down here. Now we can do the exponent. 3 to the power of 3 is 3 times 3 times 3. We know that's 27. That brings us here. Now multiplication and division in order from left to right. In this case, we've just got this division here. 27 divided by 3, that is 9. That brings us here. Now just do the subtraction. 20 minus 9 is 11. 11 minus 2 is 9. So that's a bit about variables, algebraic expressions, and how to evaluate them by following the order of operations. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and check out my college algebra course and college algebra exercises playlists in the description for more. Thanks for watching.